Okay, so today we're going to review the three different kinds of factoring that we have talked about. So we've talked about GCF, trinomials, and binomials. And then today we're going to combine all of the methods and do what is called factoring completely. So in your notebook, get one of your sheets of paper and divide it into three different sections. So I'll highlight where I've divided mine. For the three different methods that we've learned. And then we will label the top of them. So this first column is going to be all of the GCF factoring. The middle one will be the trinomials. And then the last one will be the binomials. And we won't spend forever on this. We'll just spend a little bit of time so that you can spend the last part of the period working on your quiz. Give you about 10 seconds and then I'll zoom in and we'll get going on the factoring GCF. So I'm going to do one, and then I'm going to have you do two whiteboards for each of this section. So I'll do one with you, and then you'll do two on your own for each one. So we'll start with GCF. Let's do 4x cubed minus 36x squared plus 12x. So when you GCF factor, the first thing that you do is look to see if there are any numbers on the front. And this time we do have a number on the front. It's 4, so we're going to have to factor that out, or else we're not going to be able to factor this. And then we need to take this x off of the 12. So we're going to pull out as our GCF 4x. This is our GCF. And when I say we're going to pull that out, what I really mean is that we're going to divide each term by 4x. So the first thing you check is there a number on the front? Is there a letter on the end? If there is one or the other or both, you take it out. So 4 divided by 4 goes to 1. So that number goes away, and that's what we wanted to happen. That's why we're factoring, because we want that number on the front to go away. If we have 3 x's and we factor 1 out, that leaves us with only 2 x's, so that turns into x squared. You keep the minus sign. 36 divided by 4 is 9. You have an x squared here. If you take one of those out, you're just left with x. You keep the plus sign. 12 divided by 4 is 3. If you take this x off of the end, you have no more letters, and that's what we wanted. We want to end up with an expression that does not have a number on the front and does not have a letter on the end. Okay, let's have you try to. Your answer will go on your whiteboard. Let's start with maybe an easier one. Let's go 3x to the 5th minus 42x to the 3rd. Give you roughly a minute You might need the calculator on your Chromebook, so if you use that, you might want to wake up your Chromebook and get them going. Roughly 45. You use the same method that we used on the one I showed you. You got about 30. Remember, everybody needs to hold up a whiteboard, so if you don't know, you're going to hold up a blank one. $10. 5. 3. 2. Okay, show me what you guys have. Good. Okay, thank you. That looked great, guys. I don't think any of you had it wrong. So 3x cubed times x squared minus 12. Okay, one more of these. Really good job on that last one. Okay, that's our last one of these. Only going to give you about 45 this time. About 30. $20. 10. 5. 3. 2. Okay, show me. Keep it up for a minute. Okay, great work, guys. This time you can only take out a 2x. And then before we go on to the trinomials, I just want to highlight that the whole reason that we want to factor out that GCF is so that you end up getting something in the parentheses that does not have a number on the front or a letter on the end. The reason why that's what we want is because when we go to factor things like trinomials, so like an x squared, let's do minus 6x minus 40. We can now factor this. So the reason that we want no number on the front and no letter on the end is because when we factor things like these trinomials, we can do it because there is no number on the front and no letter on the end. So if you're doing this one the long way, and you are not required to do it this way on your own sheet or while you're doing your quiz, I'm going to list out all the factors. I believe that's it, 1, 2, 4, and 5. And then this minus sign tells me that I'm going to subtract those factors. And I am looking for the two integers that equal -6. And we did get two that work. So the integers that worked were a +4, because that first number is always positive, and a -10. So we didn't need to change signs on this one. We got lucky and it worked out. So if we wanted to write it in factored form, what we would write is x plus 4, x minus 10. So you're going to try two of these. Let's do x squared plus, let's go 9x minus 36. Give you about 45. You're welcome to solve it out on your paper using the method you like best. About 30. $20. Roughly 10. Five. 3. 2. Okay, show me. Plus 12 minus 3. Yes. So when you list these out, you get 3 and 12. You're supposed to subtract those, which is going to give you a -9. And these two things don't match. So in order to make them match, you have to change the signs so that -9 becomes a positive, the +3 becomes a negative, and the -12 becomes a positive. So if these are something that you're struggling on, you're going to want to watch the trinomials video today instead of working on the quiz that you have. Do you know what I'm saying? Was that a yes? Yes. Bam. Okay, one more. Let's do x squared minus 7x plus 10. X squared minus 7x plus 10. This will be our last one of these. Got about 30. 20. 10. 3. 2. Okay, let's see. Great. -2, -5. -2, -5. Okay, and then our last set were our special binomials. So we have a special binomial when what we're seeing, the expression that we're seeing, is only 2 terms. So for a trinomial, it has 3. For these special binomials, it has 2, and you'll want to use, or you might want to use, your pink roots card that you got last time. So let's say we have 9x squared plus 100. So 2 terms, 1, 2. In order to factor this, we root the first term, we root the second term. So our factors will end up being 2 binomials. 1 will be a plus, 1 will be a minus. The root of 9 is 3. The root of x squared is x. The root of 100 is 10. But this guy has an issue. What is the issue? You need the I, because this guy's a plus. So in order to make this work, we need to put an I on the end. You only do that when you have an addition sign. All of the other ones are fine. Okay, let's do... Do you want a medium one or a harder one? Oh, okay. You guys might not think it's that hard, but it gets some people. So just use the same method that we've been using. Write your 2 binomials, write your plus and your minus, and then just root the terms. Give you about 30 seconds for this one. 20. 10. 3, 2, 1. Aw, crappers. I didn't get you. X plus 1, x minus 1. Okay, one more of these. Let's do... x to the 4th minus 1296. So this one is an extra special binomial. You're missing some part. Let's go about 20. 10, 5, 3, 2. Okay, let's see. Okay, how many binomials should you have? 4. So remember, because this is an x to the 4th, that one factors twice. So you end up getting x squared plus 36, x squared minus 36, which then factors down to x plus 6i minus 6i plus 6 minus 6. Does that jog your memory? I think that was a yes. Okay, so now I'm hoping that going through these problems is going to make today's lesson really fast for you guys, because all we're doing today is combining these 3 things. So the first thing that you will do is check to see if there is a GCF, and then the second thing you will do is one of these things. So this is on page 10 in our notebooks. This is called factoring completely or factoring polynomials. So we are going to start on number 1. So the first thing that we always do is check for a GCF. The way that we check that is we say, okay, is there a number on the front? Yes. Is there a number on the, or sorry, a letter on the end? Yes. So we're going to pull that out. We're going to take out a 4k to the 3rd. So inside, if I take out the 4, that number goes away. If I have 5 k's and take out 3, that's going to give me a k squared. Keep the minus. If I divide 100 by 4, what does that give me? 25. And if I take all 3 of the k's out, I get 4k to the 3rd times k squared minus 25. And now we have to go one more time, because this is a special binomial. So we have to factor one more time, because this is a special binomial, so we can break it into the 2 binomials. So first, make sure that you bring down your 4k to the 3rd. You want to make sure that you don't lose him. Then that special binomial is going to turn into one of these situations. So we root k squared. That gives us a k in the first position. We root 25. That's going to give us a 5 in the second position. And this whole thing, all 3 terms, the GCF and the 2 binomials, is our final answer. So on all of these problems, you're going to factor, you might factor twice. You might pull out a GCF and then do another thing, or there might not be a GCF and you just factor it. Are we okay on this first one? Yeah? Okay, now let's check the second one. It is the same exact process. So there is a number on the front and there are letters on the end. So I am going to factor out a 2m to the 4th. So I'll write down all of my dividing to help you guys. 2 divided by 2 goes away because that's what we wanted. M to the 6 taking away m to the fourth gives you m squared. Keep your minus. What's 24 divided by 2? 12. And then you only have one m. 64 divided by 2? Thank you. No m's. And this is now a trinomial that can be factored. This is now a trinomial that can be factored. So that's the middle column in our notebook. That's one of the... Okay, if you're watching at home, I ran out of space and I wasn't paying attention to where I ran out at. So if you missed some stuff, I apologize. So we're doing number, what should be 3. We've decided that there's no GCF. So we're supposed to root the first term and root the second term. So this is going to give me m squared plus and m squared minus. What's the root of 100? 10. And now because I have these squareds here, I want to see if I can go one more time, because remember when we have this fourth, sometimes we end up with 4 binomials. So I'm going to go to my pink card and I'm going to see if 10 is a perfect square. It's not. So that's our answer. We don't go any further. Okay, we are totally skipping 4. We're skipping 4. If you did it, excellent. 5 is like number 2. So you guys do 5, and I'm going to have you hold it up on your whiteboard. This should be 3x cubed. That first term should be 3x cubed. So work it all out. Factor out your GCF and then factor it. It's just like number 2. After you do this problem, and you're going to have to fill out that hall pass. Do you need 30 seconds or more than 30 seconds? Show me card. About 20. $10. $5. 3, 2. Okay, show me. Okay, so you should be factoring out a 3x. There's a 3 on the front and an x on the end. Once you factor that out, you can factor the trinomial into two binomials. Okay, the last one that we're going to do together is number 6. The last one we're doing is number 6 together. Just do the same method we've been doing. Check for your GCF. If there's not one, then see if it factors. You got about 30. Everybody needs to hold up a whiteboard, so if you don't know, you hold up a blank one. 10, 3, 2. Okay, let's see. Diamond, where's your whiteboard? Okay, this is no GCF. You write out all of the factors, and these ones do match, so you get a +3 and a -4. Okay, so I'm going to give you a handful that I want you to try, and then you can get in and do the online quiz. I am going to personally come to every single person and verify that the ones that I'm highlighting, you guys did and you got them right. So make sure that you circle these because these are the ones that I want you to try. My document viewer won't zoom out. Okay, so I want you to do 5. Just kidding. I want you to do 7. 10. 13. And 14. Seven, 10, 13, 14. When those are done, you can just get in and start your quiz, and I will just come by and check your notebook while you're working.